Yeah, this is Point Black. Coming in hard and off the card, coming with the flu straight from the barrio, and coming with the heat from the damn street. This is PBNN Point Black. National news, delayed in the great edition and the ghetto edition as well. You know what I'm saying? Because this is the facts to crack backs, so we must come with that all the time. It's important that we do. That way we can hit them with the boom bip to their lying ass lips. You know what I'm saying? This is PBNN, Point Black, National News. Now today we see a whole lot of situation going on and many things happening. You know what I'm saying? And in more ways than one, we even see another so-called situation where, people are being attacked for doing their own broadcasting and so on and so on. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, some things are seeming to be a little extreme in many ways. So we see here where we have an anchor dude who had been doing his own anchoring. This is coming in by Tracy O'Connor 2 days ago, coming off the Daily Beast. You know what I'm saying? Where a radio news anchor in Philadelphia, according to the story, was shot dead while broadcasting to the honor of his viewers watching his show live on Facebook. The Associated Press reported the assailant posed as a listener to gain access to his home based on station station of one, I guess the name one, Jamalin or something like that, fired at him twice and then fled, you know what I'm saying, with a gold chain on a motorbike. The motive was unknown, but President, I guess his name is Ferdinand Marcos Jr., you know what I'm saying, said attacks on journalists will not be tolerated in our democracy, and those who threaten the freedom, you know what I'm saying, of the press will face a full consequence of their actions. This has happened in the Philippines. I'm sorry, Philadelphia. The Philippines, you know what I'm saying? And we see the Philippines have always had their situation in many ways, you know what I'm saying? But we know something is not right when we see journalists being killed and shot in the process of providing good analyzation, good reports, or whatever the case may be in the matter of the life in which we are living today. You know what I'm saying? In this matter, at the same time, we have to look at things getting better in more ways than one, based on putting the right person in office, and as well as, while we have nobody at the front runner right now, also be forming our own candidates, you know what I'm saying, amongst our community of American citizens as a whole. You know what I'm saying? We see another one coming in here, and you know what I'm saying, it says the foolish state officials may have handed the NRA a big Supreme Court victory. You know what I'm saying? In more ways than one, but we see that demon Democrats need to be smarter while the GOP control the Supreme Court. You know what I mean? But at the same token, it doesn't matter, you know what I'm saying, in this matter when it comes to the NRA, because at the same time, everybody deserves to own a weapon, no matter who they are, especially when it comes to a certain age, to protect their home against, invaders and outside people doing garbage. You know what I'm saying? You know, but at the same time, we see video of fatal police encounter, release. You know what I'm saying? At the same time, Let's see what they're talking about. You know what I'm saying? This is coming in by Pam. This is coming in by Pam on the situation. But we see a video of a fatal police encounter release, you know what I'm saying? Coming in by Pammy, you know what I mean? Coming in by Pammy, Pam Robinson, 2 days ago. We see the State Attorney General office has released a body cam footage of an encounter that led to the police fatally shooting an Eastport man. Suffolk, Suffolk police shot Alan Weber, 54, in October when he charged at him, you know what I'm saying, while wearing a fencing mask, you know what I'm saying, and carrying two fencing swords, you know what I'm saying. And to me, I don't understand what was wrong with his brain, but it is what it is, you know what I'm saying. And I don't know if the fatal shot was necessary in to kill or just enough to hit with stopping power. You know what I'm saying? Police officers have to be more professional because if you shoot someone in the leg or the knees, you know what I'm saying, more than likely they're going to go down. You know what I'm saying? So, imagine what the situation is in this matter. But we see Adam Kingsinger, you know what I'm saying, say he's worried about the 2024 presidential election. Yeah, like his fucking brain, you know what I'm saying? He need to be worried about that because you ain't no more than a facilitator of the same Luciferian nonsense that's going on in more ways than one. So, you know what I'm saying? While he's worried about the presidential election in 2024, you know what I'm saying? Because Trump learned more way, more way, learn where the weaknesses are in the system from the 2020. You know what I'm saying? In his brain, probably, because he was a facilitator of that same situation in the same mix of the same of the game that is still being played. You know what I'm saying? It don't matter which side of the island really come out on. What's the choice? Is the people gonna make the right choice, or they're gonna bring forth a candidate amongst themselves to be able to, you know what I'm saying, have somebody to represent them in Congress and also in the chief and commander seat. You know what I'm saying? However they want to say the word, coming in by John L. You know, say I look like a Dunman 2 days ago, coming out of the Business Insider. You know what I'm saying? But he's saying he worried because Trump has learned the weaknesses in the system from his 2020 election challenge. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, the weaknesses was always there. It's just that their bully tactics has been the most dangerous of all affairs. You know what I'm saying, when it comes to this bullshit. But we see Adam Kinzinger, you know, speaking on a bulwark work or whatever broadcast, said ex said the president of the United States, you can keep the ex kings in here, whatever your name is. You know what I'm saying? The president Trump can win the 2024. This one worry this one I worry about. You know what I'm saying? The ex congressman, yeah, you definitely that said, you know, pointing to Trump's challenge to the 2020 results. You know what I'm saying? National poll taken all year have largely shown the competitive race between the creepy, cheating ass Joe Biden, who shouldn't have won in the first place, you know what I'm saying, and Trump, you know what I'm saying, the former so-called King Zinger, Adam, whatever his name is, you know, I guess Adam and Eve, in a recent interview said he's worried about the 2024 presidential election, arguing that the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, known has political allies known where the weaknesses are in the system after challenging the 2024 results. King Zinger, who is served in the Houston from 2000, you know, in the House, I'm sorry, from 2011 to 2023, you know what I'm saying, the earlier the earlier the 2023 and earlier this week, released his new book. Yeah, okay, and he also should need to release his brain. It'll help in more ways than one. We got another one coming in here by Elisa, Farrell Griffin Warren of, the misconception people who have about Trump voters on the view. We walk by them every day. You know what I'm saying? But we see it looks like Elisa Farrah Griffin say, we've got it all wrong we picture a typical American who when we picture a typical American who casts their vote for Trump. The conservative view host told the Hot Topic panel today that it's time to wake up to the real possibility that Trump, who is certainly on trial in a civil fraud case, could win once again in 2024. While debating the poll recently in the New York Times, and I guess sign of news or whatever, poll showing Trump, I'm not going to get into the wordplay, Trump beating Pete Joe Biden in key states for the 2024 presidential election. Griffin got the blunt. But Trump could, beat Creepy Joe, which he should in all ways. He should beat his ass real good. And he beat his ass the last time real good. But they're professional of cheating and using our own people to facilitate the encouragement of the very fact of saying that, you know, there is a truth to what they're saying happened based on the election and not a true investigation based on knowing that the investigation was thorough, that we could see clearly in any shape or form. So that means that whatever took place, not only did it take place and go down, but now it's being watered out and forgotten, brought up by brought up from time to time by different speakers, but at the same time the waterism of it is already gone. So the river is now flowing down the river, in more ways than one, you know what I mean. But we see here where they're saying he could possibly beat Creepy Joe. He should be beating Creepy Joe. There is no other way to look at it. What other way is there to look at it dealing with Creepy Joe? You know what I'm saying? You know, when we look at it in more ways than one, we have to look at things from the perspective of the fact of even looking at things where we see something happen, we see words are said and many things are said, but at the same time, not letting the evidence or investigation be presented in a way that the people could see it and know for sure that this is the truth. In the matter of the demon democratical ways, that's not going to happen because they're going to make sure that you get the truth according to what they say the truth is. This is the type of mind frame they have, even in the sick mind of mind control, and also of running the country and saying they rule in the world. In more ways than one, we have to break that grip. You know what I mean? But at the same time, that's what they're going to do. So when you look at the election, we're not going to see a full ballot count over in itself because you're going to talk about certain states like Georgia and so forth where they want to set up the fraud case on Trump rather than a recount of the votes in all ways. And even if Pete Joe won those states, we still haven't seen that count to the people so the people can see that done by an independent investigation. You know what I'm saying? So at the same time, whatever the truth is what they're going to tell you what it is, and then it's going to get watered away with people that are not going to even care, even saying, "Well, that's in the past," this is today, and stuff like that, and which is good, but these things must be investigated, whether it's in the past or not, because the investigation is going to take place in the past, it's going to take it in place now. You know what I'm saying? So where they hide in the ballots and they saying that they counted it and they said that he won, so forth and so on, the people still did not see the scope of that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like what they say is the truth is what the truth is, and that's it. Water it out, people move on, you know what I'm saying, and so on. And then you see more issues even coming up with Hamas and the so-called occupying people are saying they create a place they call Israel, but it's in Africa, you know what I'm saying, and is an occupier, and from what we're understanding now more than ever, and which we knew then and now and more ever, is the fact of it being a very oppressive situation that you cause in the region for 75 years. You know what I'm saying? And your occupation should have ended a long time ago. It should not have gotten to 75 years of total destruction of a race of people that you moved in and met there and were already there. And then forced your way in there and saying you did it. You've been going to Africa doing this shit a long time. Very good question. Is how did the Dutch get power over the South African people is beyond me. I mean, who sold out the country of South Africa that you come in there, meet African people already there, you know what I'm saying, using the apartheid situation that took place many years ago, I think with Bolt or whatever his name is, a Dutch boy, you know what I'm saying, idiot. But anyway, he went into in South Africa and they started ruling it and was ruling it for over 40, 50 years in South Africa. And a very repressive invasion, occupational government, invaders, and ruling South Africa to the point where they were killing the African people when they speak up and beating them and all kinds of shit. You know what I'm saying? But who let them in the country to be able to do that in the first place is the question that we must ask. But now when we look at this situation here in this matter, we're going to see if we can get this to come up on the Richter as we investigate this situation. And we're going to listen basically to what this young lady have to say in this matter. You know what I mean? And I think we all need to take a good listen to situations like these. Because when it comes to Hamas, we see in an interview with CNN, we see Becky Anderson, Queen, situation here. Let's check it out for a moment, my people. Let's check it out as we're coming in.
United calls for a ceasefire across this region, including from Jordan's Queen Rania. Israel is flatly, and when Arab leaders and united calls for a ceasefire across this region, including from Jordan's Queen Rania. Israel has flatly rejected those calls. And when Arab leaders met with Antony Blinken in Amman on Saturday, the US Secretary of State reaffirmed the US position that a ceasefire will only enable Hamas to commit more attacks like the one on October the 7th. Well, Queen Rania said that position was short-sighted.
If you manage to eliminate all of Hamas, what next? The root cause of this conflict is an illegal occupation. It is routine human rights abuses, illegal settlements, disregard to UN resolutions and international law. If we do not address these root causes, then you can kill the combatant, but you cannot kill the cause.
She went on to say that the death of civilians will only further the cause of Hamas and not bring peace to Israel. But Israel has insisted that it is doing its best to protect civilians and blames Hamas for using them as human shields. Rania cited how
That's a
Israel
lie.
has used its evacuation orders on why she doesn't think that those claims stand up. Have a listen.
Never mind that the evacuation orders are sent on online or on television, knowing that there's no electricity in Gaza since the beginning of this war. These evacuation orders, I do not believe, are for the benefit of the Gaza civilians. They are not the target audience. The rest of the world is. It is Israel's attempt to try to legitimize their actions. And when it comes to human shields, I think we need to defer to international law. Of course, the use of human shields is criminal. But even if one side puts a civilian in harm's way, that civilian is still entitled to full protection under international humanitarian law. That is the global standard, and no nation is exempt. In a place like Jabalia, which is one of the most crowded corners of Gaza, Gaza being one of the most densely populated spots on Earth, civilian death is not incidental. It is not accidental. It is a foregone conclusion, and that makes it a war crime.
Well, there you have it. You know what I'm saying? She's dropping it hot into the facts. So we see where we've been getting a lot of that. We see here where even Muslim leaders have a message for creepy Joe Biden, you know what I'm saying, on this matter. You know what I mean? And it's coming in by Muslim leaders. I guess the many black Muslim leaders as well has a message for creep Joe Biden in more ways than one. So let's check that message out and see if we can pull it up and hear what they have to say. Ways than one. They don't seem to be coming up at all. Hold up, people. Hold up, people. Hold up, people. I think we got it here, but you got to pay the bills and go to the commercial and all that bull. But the fact of the matter is what we're trying to get to the bottom of. You know what I'm saying?
Biden is facing more pressure to call for a ceasefire in Gaza, something that the White House has not done. The president has not explicitly said
One
more
second,
pressure to call for a ceasefire in Gaza, something that the White House said. Biden is facing more pressure to call for a ceasefire in Gaza, something that the White House has not done. The president has not explicitly said that. He did tell a protester, a rabbi who was at a fundraiser with him tonight in Minneapolis, and I'm quoting what President Biden told this protester this. This is according to reporters who were in the room. I think we need a pause. A pause means give time to get the prisoners out, obviously referring to the hostages there. But that statement is unlikely to quell the outrage that we are hearing from many Muslim Americans who have threatened to withhold their support from Biden's reelection. In fact, some Muslim leaders have announced today that they are done with Biden.
We have already abandoned Biden. Our message is very clear. No ceasefire, no vote in 2024.
We are not only not voting for him, but we will campaign against him to lose the election 2024.
Muslim Americans overwhelmingly backed Biden's run for the White House in 2020. Losing their support could mean a lot. He won Minnesota by single-digit percentages. Same with several swing states that also have sizable Muslim populations.
Well, there you have it, people. You know what I'm saying? There you have it. In more ways than one. You know what I'm saying? I don't see how he's able to hold on to any type of vote in any shape or form. You know what I'm saying? And the constant attack on Trump still remains, where you even having judges saying they have evidence of voter fraud, but where did the voter fraud tapes are and let's see them, you know what I'm saying, stop tiptoeing around the motherfucking tulips, you know what I'm saying, and stretching it out to 2024 and your bullshit, you know what I'm saying? You know, you the whole time you've been dancing and prancing and romancing, and y'all ain't showing us a fucking thing. Meanwhile, there's still a war going on. So you say in Ukraine, Sudan, Ethiopia, and many different places all across the fucking country because of your, you know, many of y'all dumbasses talking about elected law lawmakers here. Sometimes I feel as elected Luciferian makers probably. I don't know about law, man, Lucifer. You know what I'm saying? And man, that type of stuff, even in this one coming up, here I was looking at, you know what I'm saying, coming in by Stacey Adams, you know what I'm saying, talking about the criticism, you know what I'm saying, linked to racism on gender on Kamala Harris. No, no, it is not. No, it is not. And she, you know what I'm saying, she's a former Georgia gubernatorial candidate, Stacey Adams, you know what I'm saying, yes, Stacey very enough, she told Jen Psaki, another jackass, that she believes the so-called wannabe cheating her way into the office to do the garbage she did to the American people just to facilitate a whole takeover, face a additive scrutiny due to racism and I don't know what she called it. Masogan, whatever the folks you're talking about, whatever, during an interview on Sunday and inside with Jen Psaki, the former White House press secretary, you know what I'm saying, propaganda nutcase, asked Adams whether Harris received would receive the same criticism she was she was a white a white man? That's a dumbass question to ask, jackass. Nobody ain't comparing no woman to no man, no matter whether you're black, white, green, or purple. You know what I'm saying? That don't even make sense what you just asked. And stop playing the race card. You know what I'm saying? In more ways than one. Y'all demon Democrats good with doing that in more ways than one. And it's not about Kamala Harris and whether or not she's a candidate or racism or this or that. It's that she didn't do her job. You know what I'm saying? And she should be removed from the White House as per se a guilty, uh, 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 a guilty, a criminally guilty individual to facilitate genocide. You know what I'm saying? In more ways than one, and a replacement theory all at the same time. So we've got to start calling these candidates out right down to the measure, no matter what the consequences is, and stop letting people like Mrs. Stacey Adams use the race card, you know what I'm saying, in a interview or anything to get away with it. You know what I'm saying? Because the demon Democrats have been doing that, such as we see with Alan Braggs and so forth on. It's not about Kamala Harris being, you know, a racist against it. Kamala Harris was doing her job and had did her job to the best of her ability and show any kind of overstanding in all ways for all people on planet Earth. As a president, she would have a legacy. She's not going to have a legacy in any shape or form if she cannot get it together. You know what I'm saying? And we have to look at it that way. You know what I'm saying? Because she has facilitated right down the line with the rest of them. What did she do to me differently to any demon Democrat, including Barack Obama? Barack Obama was never going to do anything for anybody. His whole operation was to continue down and facilitate the garbage that we see in 2020, talking about woke and all this bullshit, gender and shit. Obama was the one setting all that up to be a part of the Luciferian game at the same time. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, even when you look at even Black Lives Matter and even that situation, you see the same thing. You know what I'm saying? All of them was in the same cahoots together. This was all planned out based on even going down with Soros, you know what I'm saying, Nancy Pelosi, Duns, and the rest of the Schumer, all of them. You know what I'm saying? You know, and we're still investigating the other side of the aisle as well, because we have to keep our eye on everything if we're not going to present a candidate of our own. That's one of the main things that we have to understand. You know what I'm saying? We see in more ways than one, we see now that many of the, but we see even where we have a whole lot of dumbness going on. Like we see a couple spotted on West Fort tearing down flyers, you know what I'm saying? Tearing down flyers of kidnapped Israeli children taken in Gaza. Well, first of all, I'm wondering to myself, you know, in all ways and shape and form, with the occupation of the so-called people going in there and invading in that area and calling it Israel, you know what I'm saying? A total invasion, a total occupation, have done the same thing in all ways to the Gaza people because literally you push them away from their land. You know what I'm saying? When we look at it, you push them away from their land. Many of them were exiled from the land in which they had been there before you got there. You know what I'm saying? But you speak not of these things. But you always seem to want to play the minds of the people on the sympathetic side. Now we understand you trying to play the religious game to protect you on that side, or the conscious side of people in some godlike, overstanding, miracle, magical trick. You know what I'm saying? But that never worked. That's the sad part. You know what I'm saying? But individual people don't have the power to make changes, to make things correct. The power that they may have as a people is to speak up and be in the House of Congress organized under the PLM or any form or any group based on the American citizens taking up their constitutional place. You know what I'm saying? Especially in the time of tyranny. You know what I'm saying? But we see many of them tearing down these flyers, you know what I'm saying, of Israeli children taken by Hamas. I wonder how many have been taken by, you know what I'm saying, Israel, you know, so-called occupation. But at the same time, it's to me, it still come out to the same thing. You know what I'm saying? The so-called invaded, occupying people moved in there, calling themselves this and using the Bible and fooling off the world into believing that you have a right to be in Africa and be there to ancient 300 billion years ago is absurd. You know what I'm saying? It's absurd because Hamas can't even claim that. You know what I'm saying? In no shape or form. I knew that anyway. You know what I'm saying? Nobody had to really tell me that, but looking at it geographically and scientifically and and genetically, you know what I'm saying, I was able to understand even in the geographic of it that something ain't seemed to be right in the situation. You know what I'm saying? So tearing down pictures really to me is not going to do much good. You know what I'm saying? But we see that the propaganda has begun to where people are tearing down this and tearing down the different posters and pictures. You know what I'm saying? We see Trump and absolute whopper. I seen Trump drops an absolute whopper during a Florida speech. You'd have millions you'd have millions of people alive right now if the 2020 election wasn't rigged. You know what I'm saying? And which he is right. You know what I'm saying? But we see Joe the Paulo, you know what I'm saying? Joe the Paulo or something like that, 22 days ago, you know what I'm saying, coming off the media, you know what I'm saying? No Eastern time was given, you know what I'm saying? But we see here where the President of the United States claimed millions of people would be alive if the 2020 election wasn't rigged. And he is right. Again, during an address at the Florida Republican Party Freedom Summit in Kissimmee, you know what I'm saying, Florida, on Saturday, you know what I'm saying, the President of the United States dropped his absolute whopper of a claim on the crowd. And, well, he didn't have to drop it on the crowd. He didn't have to drop it on the crowd. You know why? We already know that. You know what I'm saying? Only ignorant people who've been sucking demon democratical balls all their life to no matter what affiliation that it may have came, because a 3-year-old isn't voting, is he? A 6-year-old isn't voting, is he? So most of the people that are voting are adults. You know what I'm saying? So in 47 years and more, you know what I'm saying, to our time and before our time, you know what I'm saying, what investigation was you doing on the historical fact of leadership in your government that comes down on your head, you know, when they make these executive laws and rules and so on, that you are doing to make sure that the right people are elected to do the people's business? In those years, you should have seen much more to this than what you claim to vote for. You know what I'm saying? Because one must know who you're voting for, especially black people. You know what I'm saying? Because you know full well the history of many of these people and their ancestors prior to them, and the facilitation of it still within the government and the constitutional, you know what I'm saying, constitutional documents. You know what I'm saying, based on many treaties that were drawn up to bring prosperity to our people, many times had been long time abandoned and discarded by the same people who forced the treaty in the first place by occupational invasion. Invasion and occupation, you know what I'm saying, which is criminal in all ways. You know what I'm saying? But when you write a Bible stating that you are us, you know what I'm saying, the black people and the natural and the original people of Earth, you know what I'm saying, you try to claim that right from us. You know what I'm saying? Now, anybody with common sense would know that if any invading force move in, they're going to come with some kind of ideology and so on and so on. Even coming into Africa before coming into this country. You know what I'm saying? Many of them brought nothing good into Africa but hell and harem and slavery to the original man, the African people, who constantly had to keep on defending themselves, you know what I'm saying, from these people. And many of them laid in bed with other people that came in and caused mad corruption over different, we could go on with the scandalizations and the ins and the outs and the stories and the runabout for centuries. That's not the point. The point is that we're to a time where you should have did an investigation into the matter of who you're voting for. And that's it. You know what I'm saying? In more ways than one, that's it.